discussed about Fuzzen's rule, the rule for the covalent nature of ionic bond. Further, we discussed about covalent bond. What do you mean by covalent bond, student? So this is a force of attraction between two or more atoms which undergo sharing of electron, isn't it? So that is nothing but covalent bond. Further, we discussed about Lewis dot structure. Lewis dot structure of some molecule. So I'll give some tips or steps for this writing of the step writing for the Lewis dot structure. First structure, write Lewis dot structure. Okay. First step, you have to find total number of valence electron. First step, you have to find total number of valence electron. If there are 4 atoms, in that case we have to consider 4 atoms valence electron. Then you have to add it. Clear? So first step, total number of valence electron you have to find by adding the valence electron of the combining atom. Clear? Yes. Next one. If in case I'll consider polyatomic ion. Polyatomic ion. If in case I am considering polyatomic. So this is for monoatomic or this is for polyatomic molecule. Clear? And here this is about ion. Very important. Whenever you are considering ion, for example, CO3 2 minus, clear, N3 minus, if in case you are considering these type of polyatomic ion, in that case, total number of valence electron plus number of negative charge over that whole polyatomic ion. I'll give one example, okay? So first one, you have to find the total number of valence electron. If in case it is polyatomic ion, in that case you have to consider total number of valence electron plus the number of negative charge over that ion. Second step, in general, least electronegative atom must placed at the central position. Very important. Second step. So least electronegative atom must placed at central position. What do you mean by electronegativity, student? What do you mean by electronegativity? You tell me. What do you mean by electronegativity, student? Yeah, it is a tendency of an atom or ion to attract a shared pair of electron towards itself. Clear? So that means it is the ability of that atom or ion to attract the pair of electron or the electron towards itself. Clear? So that tendency or that ability is known as electronegative. Here it must least electronegative. The center position must be taken by the atom or ion with the least electronegative. Clear? And the third step is, and the last step, total number of electron is obtained by assuming the octet. Assuming the octet combining atom. Octet for each combining atom. So that means the valence electron must be shared to get octet for each combining atom, or 2 for hydrogen atom. So for hydrogen atom it is double. or different. Clear? So now I'll consider simple example, that is the formation of oxygen. We already studied it, isn't it? First one, formation of oxygen. Very important, student. This is very important. First step, first one. Total number of valence electrons. How many electrons were present? Valence electrons were present in one oxygen, student. Total number of valence electrons is 6. For one oxygen, there are 2, so that's why it is 12. First one, total number of valence electron for O2 molecule is 12, isn't it? Second step. Here, you must select least electronegative, but here 2 oxygen atoms were there, so that's why there is no least electronegative. Clear? So that's why its skeleton will be like this only. Clear? That means 2 oxygens were placed linearly. So next, third one. Total number of electron is shared to assume octet for each combining atom. So now there must be at least one bond between those oxygen, isn't it? There must be at least one single bond. Single bond, 2 electron, double bond, total 4 electrons, triple bond, total 3 electrons, isn't it? So it must have at least 2 electrons for the bonding purpose, isn't it? So now I'll share those 12 electrons. First one, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means 1 is from, 6 is from 1 carbon, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one is 5, isn't it? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So forget about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, isn't it? Is there octet? Is there any octet? No, isn't it? So that means there must be another electron. There must be another electron. If I place that another electron here, in that case, see, if in case I'll place this electron here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, isn't it? But this is again odd electron system, isn't it? This is odd electron system. Again, I'll consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is odd electron system. But to balance this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Clear? If in case I'll consider like this, it has only 7 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we want octet structure, isn't it? So that's why I'll share another pair of electron here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electron is from this oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is from another oxygen. So total number of shared electron is 4. So what is the bond between oxygen molecule? That is double bond, isn't it? So the bond between 2 oxygen atom is double bond. Yeah, 2 pair it is, not 2 electron. 2 pairs electron or shared between 2 oxygen. Is this clear? Is this clear, student? So now I'll consider another example. So that is nothing but NF3. I'll consider another example, NF3. So now just tell me total number of valence electron. First step, total number of valence electron. Just tell me, student, total number of valence electron. What about nitrogen? Total number of valence electron for nitrogen, student? Yes, it is 5. Then 5 plus 3 into total number of valence electron for fluorine. Yes, 7. So that is totally 20 total. 7 into 3 plus 5. 7 into 3 plus 5. Yeah, 26. It is 26. Total number of valence electron is 26. Now second one, you have to find the least electronegative atom. In case of nitrogen and fluorine, which one is least electronegative, student? Which has more tendency to attract an electron towards itself. In between nitrogen and fluorine, which has a more tendency to attract electron towards itself, student? Think. So nitrogen, it needs almost 3 electrons. Clear, for octet. But fluorine, it needs only 2 electrons. And fluorine is the most electronegative atom in your periodic table. Yes, fluorine. So that's why fluorine is a more electronegative, isn't it? But we need least electronegative. Which one is least electronegative, student? Which one is least electronegative? So that is nitrogen, isn't it? So nitrogen. So that's why nitrogen, fluorine, fluorine and fluorine. So this is nothing but skeleton. So this is nothing but skeleton. Third point, you have to arrange these total number of electron to assume or to obtain the octet configuration or octane. So now total number of electrons for fluorine is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Isn't it? So now I'll consider this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If in case I'll consider nitrogen with black marker, so it has a 5 electrons, isn't it? So I'll consider like this. 1, clear? 2, 3 and 4, 5. Is this okay? Is this okay? Total number of electrons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 26. Isn't it? And now, if in case I'll consider only this much, it attained octet configuration. Again, if in case I'll consider this one, it is again octet. Octet and octet. Simply, we'll write this nitrogen, single bond fluorine, single bond fluorine, single bond fluorine, and the remaining electrons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can write either like this or like this. Is this clear? Is this clear, student? So this is for polyatomic molecule or polyatomic compound. So I mentioned if there is a polyatomic ion, student, if there is a polyatomic ion, for example, I'll consider CO3 2 minus. If in case I'll consider CO3 minus 2, CO3 minus 2. First one, what about total number of valence electron for this? First one, total number of valence electron. For carbon, student, total number of valence electron for carbon. Tell me, total number of valence electron for carbon. Yes, it's 4. It is 4. What about oxygen? 4 plus 3 into oxygen. For oxygen, it is 6. Then, is it? Only 22? Only 22 it is. If there is a polyatomic ion, you have to consider total number of valence electron plus the number of negative charges. In that case, total number of valence electron, yes, plus 2 because of this one. Isn't it? So total number of valence electron, you have to add it. Total number of valence electron is 24. Total number of valence electron is 24. There are 2 extra electrons, isn't it? So now, if in case I'll consider carbon and oxygen, which one is least electronegative? Which one is least electronegative, student? If in case I'll consider carbon and oxygen, which one is least electronegative? Yes, carbon. So carbon, oxygen, oxygen, oxygen. Is this fine? Then total number of valence electron. I have to mention total number of valence electrons, isn't it? So now in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Clear? So there are 24 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now it has at least one bond. It also have at least one bond. Clear? So now just measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22. Then there are 2 electrons, 2 extra electrons, isn't it? 2 extra electrons. So now I start to find the octet configuration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it is octet, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it is also octet. Now count for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many electrons were That means how many electron it needs to form octane or to attain octet configuration. 2 electrons, isn't it? And that 2 electrons was given by this one. So that's why I'll write like this 1 and 2. Now just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means it is again in octet configuration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is also in a octet state. But if you write only this much, it is wrong. Yeah, if you write only this much, it is wrong. Why? Why, student? This basically right, but if we write only this much, that means if in case we write carbon, oxygen, double bond, oxygen, single bond, oxygen, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is wrong. Why, student? Why, students? Why? If in case I write only this much, this is wrong Lewis dot structure for CO3 minus 2. Yeah, it is an ion, isn't it? So that's why you have to write in this way. You have to write in this way. That means CO3 is with a minus 2 charge. So that's why you have to mention this bracket with minus 2. For this also, you have to write like this or else it is wrong. Is this clear? Is this clear? Just remember, students, very important. If you write only this much, you'll get 0 mark for this. Clear? You have to mention these 2 electrons. Okay? Is it okay? So this is very important. You will get one question from this. You have to write Lewis dot structure for any one compound. Just try to write Lewis dot structure for carbon monoxide. Already given this example, I forgot to give some polyatomic ion because I have to explain these rules. NO2 minus, CO3 already is finished, isn't it? CO3 minus 2 is already finished. Then I give one N3, isn't it? It is N3 minus. You just try to solve, okay? So then N2 is already finished, isn't it? So then C2H4, try to write for C2H4. I'll consider this example and I try to explain that, okay? C2H4, total number of, student, total number of valence electron. Just try it, okay? If you find any difficulty, just tell me. I'll solve in the next class. Okay, it is very easy. You can try it. Okay. So I'll move for next topic. That is nothing but characteristics of ionic bond. Sorry, characteristic of covalent bond. Characteristic of covalent bond. So in case of ionic bond, we explained, isn't it? It has a that means in a reaction or it is what are the characteristics of ionic bond, student? With respect to its conductivity, isn't it? With respect to its solubility, we explained, isn't it? When we consider characteristic of covalent, first condition is it is soluble or insoluble in water, student? Just tell me, it is soluble or insoluble? If in case we consider solubility, simple question, it is soluble in water or insoluble in water? We considered polar solvent soluble in polar solvent, non-polar solute dissolved in non-polar solvent. Simple question. If in case I'll consider covalent bond, there is no such charge difference, isn't it? If in case I'll consider O2 molecule, is there any polarity, student? Is there any polarity? No, there is no polarity in a covalent bond. So that's why it is insoluble in polar solvent like water, isn't it? But it is soluble in non-polar solvent. Non-polar solvent like benzene. Non-polar solvents like benzene. Clear? And second one, the reaction between the covalent compounds are very slow. The reaction between covalent bonded compound, covalent bonded compound is very slow. Why, student? If in case we are considering an ionic bond, it dissociates easily. It dissociates easily because of the polarity. There is a charge separation. But in case of covalent bonded compound, it dissolves, or the reaction between the covalent bonded compound is very slow because of mutual sharing of electrons. This is second character of covalent bond. And the last one and the third one, they do not conduct electricity or electric current. Clear? So they do not conduct electric current. Clear? So these are nothing but three important characteristics of covalent bond. First one, solubility, that is, it is insoluble in water or polar solvent, soluble in non-polar solvent such as C6H6, that is benzene. Second one, reaction between covalent bond and compound is very slow. And the last one, it do not conduct any electric current or electricity. Is this clear, student? Is this clear about covalent and ionic bond? Is this clear? Student, just reply. Is this clear? Is this clear? Okay. So then we will move for next topic, that is a bond parameter. Again, very important for 3 marks. Important for 3 marks. You will get this question for 3 marks for the board examination. So now, what are these bond parameters, student? What are these bond parameters? So we know bond is nothing but it is a force of attraction between two constituent atom or ion, isn't it? So that means if there is a force of attraction between any two atom or any two ion or any two molecule, in that case it is known as bond. Covalent bond, ionic bond, or simply chemical bond, isn't it? So that means what are the bond parameters? Very important. There are mainly 4 bond parameters were there. First one, any idea, student? What are those bond parameters? That means characteristic of bond itself. How we can measure the, yes, it is bond length. First one is bond length. Next, second one. Bond strength, or we consider it as bond energy. We consider it as bond energy. Okay, third one. Bond angle, yes, very good. Bond angle. And last one, fourth one, very important. Any idea? If it shares 2 electron, it is single. If it shares 4 electron, it is double. If it shares 3 electron, it is triple. What are those characters, or what they are known as? Number of electron. Yeah, that is number of electron itself, but it is known as bond order. Bond order. Clear? So these 4 are very important bond parameters. So in that first one, I'll consider bond length. What do you mean by bond length, student? What do you mean by bond length? What do you mean by bond length? Yeah. It is equilibrium distance between, if in case I'll consider oxygen, it is oxygen atom, okay? Single oxygen atom, another oxygen atom. If in case both have same size, okay? So so this is nuclei of this one, nuclei of second oxygen. It is first oxygen, second oxygen. So So now the question, what is bond length? What is bond length? Yes, the distance between, or the equilibrium distance between two bonded atom or nuclei of two bonded atoms is known as what? Bond length. Is this clear, student? It is equilibrium distance between two nuclei of bonded atom is known as bond length. Is it clear? It is equilibrium distance between nuclei of two bonded atom. Very important. Two bonded atom is known as bond length. How extent it made atom increases or decreases the length? What was the question, Prithvi? Then its unit is, we use angstrom as its unit, okay? We use angstrom as a unit. Clear? So it is the equilibrium distance between the nuclei of two bonded atoms. So now the question, if there is a double bond, or if there is a single bond, or if there is a triple bond. So now, how the bond order and bond length interrelated? How? Bond length and bond order. There is a triple bond, there is a double bond, there may be a single bond. Which one has a shorter wavelength? Sorry, shorter bond length. Which one has shorter bond length? Triple, double and single. I'll consider it as 1, 2 and 3. Which one has a single bond has what? Single bond has what? Which one has a short, larger bond length, isn't it? Huh? So that means like this. As bond order increases, bond length decreases. As bond order increases, bond length decreases. Clear? Clear, student? So that means as there is a triple bond, its bond length decreases because there is a strong bond between these two. Yeah. So next one, there is another thing. So this is for this one, okay? Bond length, don't confuse. This is for bond length. And the next one. So here we consider S character. So that means as S character increases, bond length decreases. As S character increases, student, you have to log in once again, okay? As S character increases, bond length decreases. So there are three types of hybridization. Mainly there are three types of hybridization, isn't it, student? What are those hybridization? I think this word is familiar to you people, isn't it? Hybridization, student, hybridization. So there are three main hybridizations for the sp3, sp2 and third one is sp. Now the question, what is the percentage of S character in sp3 hybridization? What is the percentage of S character in sp3 hybridization? Yeah, just tell me. You know the method to calculate percentage, isn't it? So there are 4 orbitals, 1s and 3 p orbitals, 1s. So we'll learn about this after 1 or 2 classes, okay? Yeah. 1 plus 3, so total number of orbitals 4, yeah, that is 25%. S character is 25%. What about sp2, student? What is sp2? Yeah, 33.3%, 33.3%. Find the character of or percentage of S character. And what about sp? 50-50, isn't it? 50%. And bond Yeah, about hybridization we'll learn in DSCPR theory, okay. Further we'll study, some of you might know about this, okay. So these are nothing but hybridization terms, mixing of orbital with a different, slightly different energy and making it up with a equilibrium energy or with a equivalent energy. We'll learn this after some time, okay. But just try to remember this thing, okay. As X character increases, bond length decreases. We'll study in a detail about sp3. Again, this is also important. You'll get again one question from these three. Okay. One is with the 25% in sp3, it is 25% of S character. In case of sp2, it has a 33.3%. In case of sp, it is 50%. In that case, which one has long bond length? Which one has a long bond length? That means which has a lengthier. Yeah, just tell me. As S character increases, bond length decreases. Which one has a highest S character, student? Yes, P has a highest S character. In that case, bond length of this one is very less. Isn't it? Next comes sp2, next comes sp3. So this is bond length order. Bond length order for hybridization. Yeah, one has a more, that means sp3 has a more than sp2, which has more bond length than sp. Is this clear? So this is again same thing with the triple bond, single bond. It has a single bond, double bond, and this has a single bond. Is this clear, student? Again, about this we'll learn after some one or two classes. Okay? Huh? Is it clear? Is it clear, student, about bond length? Bond length is nothing but it is the equilibrium distance between nuclei of two bonded atoms. So now unit is angstrom, and here if in case we consider bond order with single electron, double electron and triple electron or triple bond, what will happen? So first one, single electron has a longer wavelength than, bond length than double bond, which has again, okay. So this is again very important about bond length. You have to write all these things for 1 mark, okay. 4 marks question, 1 mark for each. 4 or 3 marks, okay. If they ask for 3 marks, you can write in 3. Next one is bond energy. Any idea, student, what is bond energy? What is bond energy? Or it is also known as bond enthalpy. Bond enthalpy. It is also known as bond enthalpy. What do you mean by bond enthalpy, student? Any idea? We know ionization enthalpy, we know electron gain enthalpy. Any idea about energy required to break the bond? Yes, that's true. So energy required to break bond, but we have to mention one thing here. It is energy required to break, very important, 1 mole of, very important, 1 mole of bond. Or else it is energy required to separate the bonded atom in a gaseous state or gaseous atom. We consider it as gaseous atom. But remember this one, okay? Energy required to break 1 mole of bond, or it separate the bonded atoms in a gaseous atom. Bonded atom in a gaseous atom. That means bond dissociation enthalpy it is. Yeah. If in case there is a bond between any two atoms, If there is a bond between any two atoms and I have to break that bond, I have to break that bond, it needs some energy, isn't it? There must be. That means you have to supply some amount of energy to break this bond, isn't it? And that is known as, yeah, energy requirements endothermic itself, isn't it? To break this bond, we need some amount of energy, and that is known as bond energy. Energy required to break 1 mole of bond and separate the bonded atom in a gaseous atom is known as bond energy. Clear? For dissociation of hydrogen. Clear? Hydrogen. Hydrogen is a gas itself. Hydrogen is a gas itself. It should dissociate it into gaseous atoms. Gaseous atom. It needs delta H value equals to 435.8 kilojoule per. You can see this kilojoule per mole. I'll write this unit here. Kilojoule per mole. So that means 435.8 kilojoule per mole is nothing but bond enthalpy or bond energy. Is this clear? To break hydrogen molecule into hydrogen atom. So this is molecule. So this is hydrogen molecule and these are nothing but two atoms. In a gaseous state, very important, it is in a gas. Clear? So these are again the values. You mean by values? How it came? This way? This value? Again. So this is very important in thermodynamic studies. In a thermodynamic study, we'll study about the energy of these things. Delta H, delta S, enthalpy, entropy. So these are again theoretical values. These are theoretical values. Okay. So that means if we provide this amount of energy itself, H2 will break. If in case you're considering only 420 or 400, in that case there is no dissociation. But when you provide 435.8 or 435 kilojoule per mole, in that case it starts to break. Clear? So these are theoretical value. Clear? About this, again there is another branch of chemistry that is known as thermodynamics. We'll study in that detail. Okay? Formation of NaCl, how it will form. For this again there are several things: bond dissociation enthalpy, ionization enthalpy. Summation of all those things will give the value of delta H. Clear, students? Okay. So now, if in case I'll consider this one. So now this is simply called as bond dissociation enthalpy. It is simply called as bond dissociation enthalpy. Why? We have to break the bond, isn't it? Break 1 mole of bond. So now bond dissociation enthalpy is, if in case bond and dissociation enthalpy is stronger. That means if in case you are considering large bond dissociation enthalpy, the bond is stronger or weak, students? If I provide more amount of energy to break bond, in that case the bond is very weak or strong. Just imagine, you are providing more amount of energy to break single bond or double bond or whatever it is. To break that bond, if you need more amount of energy, in that case it is strong. If there is a large bond dissociation enthalpy, in that case it is bond is stronger the bond. If the bond is stronger, it is stable or unstable, student? If the bond is stronger, in that case that molecule is stable or unstable? Stable, isn't it? So these are again interrelated, student. Very important. If you need large amount of bond dissociation enthalpy, in that case it is stronger. That means the bond between those two atoms is very strong. That means the molecule is stable. Clear? If in case we consider any two molecules X and Y or X2 and Y2, it needs only 10 kilojoule per mole. I'll give one example. Okay, if it is 12 kilo kilojoule per mole. In that case, which one is more strong, Y2 or X2? Or which one is more stable, student? Y2, isn't it? Stability is more as the bond dissociation enthalpy increases. Is this clear, student? So bond dissociation enthalpy increases, that means stronger the bond. If the bond is stronger between any two atoms or three atoms or more than two atoms, then the bond is very stable. Is this clear? So now next term in this case itself, if in case we consider polyatomic molecule, if in case we consider polyatomic molecule, polyatomic molecule. For example, I'll consider water molecule. If in case I'll consider water molecule. Water is a liquid, isn't it? So when it dissociates, it gives two molecules, H plus and OH minus. H plus and OH minus. Or I'll simply consider OH, okay? Huh? So I'll consider just like H and OH, okay? It is actually H plus and OH minus. Clear? Further, I have to dissociate this, isn't it? So that's why I'll consider it as a gas, okay? I'll consider it as a gas, it also as a gas. Now, OH will dissociate. How it will dissociate? Oxygen gas and hydrogen gas. Isn't it? So this is polyatomic ion where it composed with two hydrogen and one oxygen. So that's why it is known as polyatomic molecule. So there are two different atoms, hydrogen and oxygen, isn't it? So now bond dissociation enthalpy for this one is value of delta H for that one is 502 kilojoule. It is kilojoule per mole, student, okay? You can see that? Okay. So then for this one, OH gas dissociated into oxygen atom and hydrogen atom, it needs around 427. It needs around 427 kilojoule per mole. Clear? So now we need to find average bond enthalpy. We need to find average bond enthalpy. How will find average bond enthalpy, student? What will be the average bond enthalpy for water? Average bond enthalpy for water, if in case I'll consider it as 1 or 2, it is delta H1 plus delta H2 divided by 2, isn't it? So then we'll get somewhat 464.5 kilo, 464.5 kilo joule per. Clear? If you want to find average bond enthalpy, in that case you have to consider each and every step where there is a bond dissociation enthalpy. Clear? If you find only about this one, it is not a bond dissociation enthalpy. So you have to find average bond enthalpy. Clear? Because there is a OH which is again a molecule. Isn't it? Oxygen and hydrogen compose with each other to form OH. Isn't it? So that's why we have to convert it into gaseous atom. What was the definition or statement? So energy required to break 1 mole of bond and separate them into a gaseous atom. Clear? To separate them into a gaseous atom, we converted it into gas. Clear? So that is known as bond energy. Is this clear, student, about bond energy? Is it clear? If there is a polyatomic molecule, then you have to consider average bond enthalpy. Is this clear? Yes. Okay. And the third bond parameter is bond angle. And the third bond parameter is bond angle. What do you mean by bond angle? What is bond angle, student? It is angle between the orbital containing electron bond containing electron pair around the orbital, electron pair around the so now bond angle is nothing but this is the angle between the orbital containing, sorry, it is bonded electron, okay. This is bonded electron around the orbital of the orbit. It is not audible? Student, you can hear? Student, is it clear? Okay. Someone messaged me. It is not. Okay, fine. So now, bond angle is nothing but it is angle between the orbital containing bonded electron, that is bonded pair of electron around the orbital, which is nothing but central atom or in a molecule. I'll give one example, okay. So angle between the orbital containing bonded pair of electron around the orbital or the central atom, which is central atom in a molecule. For example, H2O. I'll consider example as a water. Which one is central atom here? Which one is central atom? Which one is central atom, student? Yeah, here we have to consider oxygen as a central atom, okay. Again, we'll study, you know, VSEPR3. Okay, so this one is oxygen, hydrogen, and we know dot structure. It is not required here. I just write 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6 is from this electron and 1 is from this hydrogen, whatever it is. Okay, so now the question is, what is bonded pair of electron? What do you mean by bonded pair of electron? Student, any idea what is bonded pair of electron? Bonded pair of electron. There are three words. One is valence electron, bonded pair of electron, and third one is lone pair of electron. Any idea about bonded pair of electron, student? For bonding, it needs at least one pair, isn't it? If there is one pair electron, it is single bond. If there is two pair of electrons, it is double bond. If there is a three pair of electrons, triple bond, isn't it? So what do you mean by bonded pair of electron? So bonded pair of electron is nothing but these are pair of electron which involved in the bonding purpose. In between oxygen and hydrogen, there is a one pair of electron, isn't it? So there is one pair of electron between hydrogen and oxygen, isn't it? So that we represent with a single bond, isn't it? Again, there is another one pair of electron between oxygen and hydrogen, that is again this one. So this angle between the orbital containing, very important, bonded pair of electron around the orbitals or around the central atom in a molecule, around the central atom. Clear? So this is nothing but your bond angle. So this one is bond angle. For water, it is around 104.5. 104.5. Clear? Degree. Okay. I forgot to tell about lone pair of electron. So now question is about lone pair of electron. What do you mean by lone pair of electron? So these are pair of electron which do not involve in bonding purpose. So now the question, for hydrogen there is no lone pair of electron, but what about oxygen? Valence electron that aren't in a bond. Yes, that is nothing but your lone pair of electron. So the electron which do not undergo any bond formation. What about oxygen? What about lone pair of electrons? How many lone pair of electrons were present for oxygen? 4 lone pair of electrons. It is pair of electrons, Prithvi. It is pair of electron. Yes, it is 2 pair of electron. 1, 2, 3, 4. Total number of electron is 4, but it is 2 pair of electron. 2 pairs of electron. Is this clear? Is this clear? So this is about bond angle. So angle between the orbitals containing bonded pair of electron around the central atom in a molecule is known as bond angle. Is this clear, students? Is this clear? Again, detail about this we'll study in a VSEPR theory. There are 3 different types of force of attraction and repulsions were there. So that's why bond angle will decrease or increases. Clear? So that again depends on VSEPR theory. About that we'll study in this chapter itself. Okay? Okay, it is initial state, so that's why we have to learn about these. After that we can learn more things or in detail. Okay? And the last one is about bond order, and you know the things. It is, what it is? It is the number of bonds. Yeah, it is the number of bonds between atoms. Is known as bond order. Is it clear, students? What is the bond order for nitrogen and oxygen and hydrogen? What is bond order for nitrogen, oxygen and hydrogen? Bond order for hydrogen, it is the number of bond between atoms, student. Atoms in a molecule. For hydrogen, it is only one bond. For oxygen student, for oxygen, we know Lewis-Dot structure, it is 2. Oxygen. For nitrogen, we'll write the Lewis-Dot structure, okay? Total number of electrons, 5 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 plus 3 plus 2 and 3 plus 3 plus 2. Yes, that is nitrogen with a triple bond. Is this clear? Is this clear, students? Next we'll study about formal charges. Next we'll study about formal charges, where we have to know about this bonded pair of electron, valence electrons and